Hello, hello, and welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Mind, Body, Soul Mastery is a place where we explore what it really means to live with intention, to lead from the heart and walk through life with a deeper connection to mind, body, and soul. Whether I'm sitting down with a guest or just sharing what I'm learning in real time, my hope is that you'll hear something that invites you back to yourself. So take a deep breath and let's drop into today's conversation. This episode is a little different. It marks a pause in this Mind, Body, Soul Mastery podcast. Not a door closing forever, but a space between chapters. A breath, a reflection, and truly a sacred pause. This show started from a quiet nudge in my heart back in October of 2023, and it was a desire to create something honest and soul-centered. A space for truth-telling, not perfection. A place where we could hear ourselves in each other. To be real, to be honest. And the intention of this podcast was to hold conversations that remind us of what's real. What's beneath the surface noise? What's beneath the shallow? It was never about fixing or teaching. It's to witness, to explore, and to remember and grow. When I first launched this podcast, it wasn't part of a master plan. There was no long-term strategy. It was a simple desire to bring light to the messy, sacred human moments. And there was also this deep desire to share meaningful conversations that helped people feel less alone in their messy and challenging, to feel less alone in their muck and mire, to feel less like there was something wrong with them. This podcast came out of my own journey of healing and the questions that I am still living with and working through. And it also came from a deep need for deep and meaningful conversations in my everyday. I mean, hell, I'm a Pisces and I'm a 1-3 pure generator. I am all about deep, honest, meaningful communication. That's what lights me up. And this podcast was the place to talk to people about their real moments, even the messy ones, the turning points, and how they kept going. It inspired me to listen to everyone's story. And it turns out, you know what? This podcast was never about the episodes. In addition to what, my intentions were in the beginning, this was also about becoming visible, about being witnessed. And actually, right now, this week, my guides have been coming up for me. It's no longer time to play small. This podcast has helped me move out of that bondage of playing small. One of the biggest gifts of this experience has been my own voice. The ability to show up imperfectly, to not have all the questions put together, to allow things to just unfold and flow as the energy directed. I also learned how to sit across from someone and listen with my whole heart, fully engaged, fully present. I've had to show up differently. I've learned to speak with more courage, and I've learned to listen deeper, as well as trust myself more and trusting the nudges, trusting the things that I was being prompted to ask or go back to. This podcast has reminded me that presence is the magic, that being seen in our truth is healing, even if no one says it out loud. It's also taught me to stop overthinking and to stop worrying what other people thought. I've learned to follow the intuitive nudge, which is something that, in my 7 years since my healing journey, follow the nudges is one of the early phrases, and one of the still things that I work with my clients on is tuning into the body, tuning into the intuition, and following the nudges, following the prompts, even when the mind, it doesn't make sense or it doesn't seem logical. The body knows. I also loved how the conversations unfolded, and even those that went deep into the woo. Some of those conversations blew my mind and left me energetically so high for hours afterwards. Again, meeting the needs of my soul. And now, what did my podcast offer others other than my guests all a platform to share their story, their brave and courageous stories? I didn't always hear the impact of these episodes. I didn't hear the impact of the stories that my guests shared. And honestly, most times it feels like I'm speaking out in the void. But I know deep in my being that this podcast is an energetic body of work. That has been its intention. And this has become a living archive of stories, wisdom, and transformation. There were so many gold nuggets sprinkled into these conversations. I don't even think 2 pages would hold them all. So I know that this podcast is out here doing what it needs to do, even if I never saw or knew about it. And to every guest who came with open hearts, I thank you. Your stories are part of this sacred field. And to every listener, your presence mattered. Yet lately, something has shifted, and what once filled me with excitement has started to feel heavy, less joyous, less fun. Not the conversations. I love those, and I'm up for a good conversation every day. But there is more to a podcast than just the interview. It's also, though, I've changed. The season has changed. And I don't want to keep producing something just because I can. I want what I offer to feel aligned and not obligatory. So I'm being pulled to pause and redirect. I'm no longer willing to stay in motion for motion's sake. This is about integrity with my energy and doing what I say, mind, body, soul mastery, following the nudges, following where my intuition is guiding me, answering the call to pause. And that is what I've learned to trust. And leaning in and asking, okay, what is this moment trying to show me? What is for me? What do I need to see, hear, feel, or know? And right now, my intuition is demanding me to create space, to pause, to recalibrate, to listen in a new way, even deeper. And maybe it's to be seen differently. I don't know. But I'm definitely being called to pivot, and I'm honoring that. And I trust that when and if this podcast returns, it will be a place of deeper truth, because mind, body, soul mastery, that's what I'm here for. That's the work I do. That's still how I'm going to be helping people. And I'm pretty sure this podcast will continue too. I just don't know what it's going to look like yet. And that's okay. So this episode is 169. But if there's one theme that has carried me through all 168 episodes, along with my own healing journey and in my own everyday life, working through my own messy and challenging, working through my own muck and mire, it's been this. Lean in. Instead of resisting or shutting down or denying or closing the door on it, or even to feel like you have to figure it all out, lean in and ask, what in this is for me? Even in the challenging, even in the heartbreaking. Because there is an opportunity for growth. There is an opportunity for deeper awareness, for a deeper truth. Whether that's personal, energetic, or emotional, it's an opportunity. Everything that presents to us is an opportunity. So learning to sit with what's real even when it isn't easy. Again, mind, body, soul mastery. So that question, what's in this for me, has literally changed everything, changed my perspective, changed how I work through things. It's helped me find strength in the uncertainty. I found clarity in the chaos. And I found trust in the quiet. There's been healing. And it's been a return to alignment and wholeness. So thank you. Thank you for walking with me, for listening in and being a part of this journey and all of my guests who joined me on this podcast. So whether you've heard one episode or many, you are part of this, and I am so grateful for you. And if you've been listening quietly, I may not have heard from you, but I've felt you, and your presence mattered. I have so much gratitude for all of my listeners and all of the guests who joined me. I've met some incredible humans that I would love to get to know deeper. So many. This podcast will remain live on air. It will be here whenever you need some hope and inspiration. Just like sometimes we need to return to ourselves for something, sometimes we need to return to that familiar voice or that calm and grounding presence that someone has just to settle in. It will be here. And who knows what the next season may hold. I'll be listening. My guides are very clear. And I will be following the next right step on my journey. So if you've felt connected to this journey and desire to stay close, you can always find me on TikTok, bst.energyhealer, or on Instagram at Brenda Staat-Tomlinson, or consider joining me in the Within community and experiencing the journey live and in real time with not only myself, but many other heart-centered souls who are on the path just like me, evolving their souls. So until then, may you continue to walk your path with presence, truth, and deep self-trust. Much love and compassion to you, my friends. This is Brenda Staat-Tomlinson, signing off from the Mind, Body, Soul Mastery podcast.